everybody, welcome live to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. Thanks for being there in our studio audience. Well, actually, you're not really a studio audience, are you? Because you're not in the studio. But we treat you as if you are here with us watching all around the world. So you are kind of like the studio audience, but in your own homes and offices and apartments and wherever you are watching our series. It's so cool to have you here. I'm your host, Jim Masters, reporting for duty in the host chair to entertain and inform and whatever we want to do with you. We have a good time because we always do it in a free-flowing way. Nothing is scripted. Nothing is prepared as far as questions and things of that nature. That's why I call this show an Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series, because it's conversations, not just interviews where people are reading teleprompters or they're reading scripts or everything that they say is pre-written and nothing is genuine and everything is so exacting. The show is live. We have a good time. We invite you to join us, and we have an amazing time with our guests, our celebrity friends and guests who come in from around the world. And we have a very special guest who's joining us from Austin, Texas. Yes, he's actually next week headed up to Nashville to do some recording. I'm talking about a terrific country music singer, country music star, songwriter, and so much more. And he is Chris Chitsey, and we're so excited to have him here. He's got some new music out. He's been doing this a long time. He loves what he does. And we are so excited to have him on the show. He's also very excited to be here. We were just chatting and, checking the video and audio and all the fun stuff. You usually have a chat with our guest before the show as you guys are starting to file in as viewers. So we make sure everything is good audio and video, especially considering our shows are live. We double, triple check to make sure audio and video and everything is good, because when you're live, anything can happen. And that's the exciting thing about, I think, doing these shows live. You guys know I work in television and radio and have for a long time here in America. And a lot of the broadcasts I've always done have been live. So there's that energy of live, right? Anything can happen, and you guys are here. We're excited to welcome our special guest joining us again from Austin, Texas, where he is born and raised. And we're very excited to have an opportunity to tell you about some really cool things that he is working on and some new things he has released. Born and raised in Texas, made a name for himself on the honky-tonk circuit before having national success in the early 2000s. His influences include George Strait, Garth Brooks, Merle Haggard, and many, many other legends. His first self-titled album that hit the national country charts, including At a Time Like This, John Wayne Rides Again, and With a Body Like That, spent 18 weeks on the CMT and GAC Top 10 countdowns. And after many years of working on the road, Chris charted his first number one single, Lonely in Tucson, in 2005 on the New Music Weekly Country American chart, followed by two more hit singles, Superstitious Heart and Just Don't Know Me Yet. Chris has continued to tour, and in 2023 collaborated with Nashville producer D. Scott Miller. And the first single, Last Time I Saw You, written by Rob Martin and Frank Maloney, that reached number one, the chart position, for the 43rd week on the World Indie Music Top 100 charts. Yeah. See what I'm talking about, folks? He's been doing this quite a few years, and he loves it. And his accomplishments are pretty great. His journey in the music business, and country music specifically, has been a true testament to his talent, persistence, dedication he brings to the table. His star power, world-class voice, and imposing personality have brought him the national acclaim that country music fans knew was coming since the beginning. And his skill as a commanding and confident entertainer is apparent every time he takes a stage, carrying fans on one of music's most enjoyable journeys. His new music is Life is Hard, Whiskey is Easy, and that is available, and you can download it and all the rest, and we'll tell you how as we go along here on the show. Matter of fact, we're going to pull up an actual image of it that you can see right there. There's the new music. This is something really cool we're excited to tell you about. Here's some other cool shots and photos of Chris doing his thing over the years. And again, He's a real personality. I like that sport coat. How do I get that? I'm gonna have to borrow that from him. That's a cool sport coat. It's a great look. A lot of music he has put out for a long time. He's, packed houses. He's performed here, there, and everywhere. He loves to be in the recording studio. He loves to be on stage, greeting and meeting his fans. And guess what? We have him here exclusively for this Jim Masters Show Live conversation, and it's going to be cool. So, adorned by all the albums and all the fantastic equipment and musical instruments and just everything that allows him to do what he does, we are very excited to welcome Chris to our show. And put your hands together, studio audience or audience watching around the world. I can hear those claps. Let's welcome him to the show. Chris, welcome to the Jim Masters Show. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. What an intro, man.
Did you hear all those claps from everybody watching the world?
I did. I feel like I've really made the big time now that I'm on the Jim Masters Show. Thank you so much.
Well, that's what everybody says, I tell you. And I know you've been really excited about it, and that's so cool. And I'm excited that in your busy schedule, because I know next week you're headed off to Nashville. So you got a lot of things cooking and a lot of things you've done. Congratulations on everything that's going on. This isn't something you just started yesterday. You've been doing this for quite some time, my friend, huh?
I have. It's since my high school years, going back many years, but things have, good Lord's opened a lot of doors for me here lately. And we just keep kicking them down and just riding through them all. So have a lot going on these days.
I love the room that you're in, and I see, some really beautiful records hanging on the wall framed. Tell us about the room that you're in. People love to visualize and see where the guests are.
Yeah. This is my office, kind of kiddo's playroom type of thing, but have a mural behind me of a big giant speaker and a couple of gold and platinum records on the wall. The other wall is filled as well. You can't see that one right now. I was just going through some guitar stuff for a performance I have next Friday on the RFD TV network in Nashville. So guitar strap thrown over my chair here, but it's a pretty cool room. Pretty cool room.
And I love the wall. Is that like a big microphone you have there?
It is. That's what that is. It's I found a lady that did custom wallpaper years ago, and she had a microphone, and I said, I want that on my wall in my office. So, and she came out and knocked it out, did a fantastic job.
So you're an Austin boy, right? Austin, Texas. I was mentioning to you, I had a real great pleasure of visiting that fine American Texas city when I was on a PBS conference. They had a big conference. We were at one of the hotels, and they had all this entertainment. They had the people from Austin City Limits there, because that show's been on for 1,000 years on PBS, and a lot of acts. And it was really cool. And we got a chance when the conference wasn't happening, because it's where they debut a lot of the shows. We got a chance to sample the restaurants and go to some of those strips that have all of the bars with the doors open and all kinds of music coming in and out, which is so cool. There's a lot of energy and a lot of creativity in Austin, huh?
Oh, big time. You have the whole ACL movement and the South by Southwest. And I mean, there's tons of great bars and some of the best food in the country. Austin and Nashville have always kind of been sister cities. I think Nashville's still a few years maybe behind, but the nightlife, the awesome scene here in Austin, I get it here, and then I go to Nashville and get it as well with Lower Broadway and all the cool bars, and just a great scene happening in both cities. I'm very fortunate. I lived in Nashville the early 2000s for several years, but very fortunate now to kind of go back and forth every few weeks, and I pretty much call them both home these days.
I mentioned early on you've had some really top people that you admired, that people you looked up to, that sort of inspired you along the way. Tell us about early on how you got started. Were you surrounded by music in the house? Like for me, I could think early on as a kid about all the music that we were surrounded by in our house. Big stereo filled with all of these albums and tapes and all kinds of stuff that my father and my mother always had. And then we had, of course, our collections too, but I would go digging into the parents' their big stereo, open up the big wood lid, thumb through the albums. We would sneak those albums into the bedroom with our player and play them as we were, playing with our toys or whatever. So I got exposed to all kinds of music, including country, everything, you name it, big band, country, jazz, pop, rock, instrumental, orchestral, early on. How about you? Were you exposed to music early on, and what inspired you to really make a career out of it, Chris?
Yeah, what a great question. I was, being raised here in Austin, on the whole Willie Nelson, Waylon, the whole outlaw country movement, if you will. It was perfect for me. My dad, some of my earliest kind of childhood memories, my dad had a couple of old Wurlitzer jukeboxes, and he had a barbecue restaurant here in Austin for many, many years. And one of my favorite things to do was to go to this place called Sound Warehouse, and we would pick out 45s. They were making, they made 45s, new country that was coming out. And so we had every 45 from George Strait to Keith Whitley to Alan Jackson to Buck Owens and Merle Haggard. I could go on and on and on, but was raised around a lot of really good country music. And I consider myself a country purist because those guys had such an influence, the Johnny Cashes and the Waylons and the Keith Whitleys, Mel Tillis. I mean, some of these greats still have an influence in my music today. And that's kind of where I got my start was when my dad and mom had a barbecue place in downtown Austin, and we used to have national acts coming through there, and seeing those guys play is where I really kind of caught the fever to the music business. And shortly after my undergraduate studies down the road at Texas State, as they call it now, but Southwest Texas State University, back when I went and graduated from there, that's where I really kind of got my start playing every sorority, fraternity party, fair, festival, honky-tonk, bar, anything I could get my hands on. But it wasn't just country. It was I love Motown. It was Motown records we were buying, and it was the Eagles, and I'm a huge fan of music in general.
What were you studying in school?
Broadcasting.
I could tell.
But broadcasting and business. My dad always told me, get your education first, and you can do anything you want in the music business. And so I did the Tuesday, Thursday kind of class schedule and was on the road 150 to 200 days a year, living in a tour bus Thursday through Sunday. And then I always made that Tuesday class. But my professors, God bless them, they were awesome and let me usually take that Thursday off for being on the road somewhere.
I don't doubt that you probably know, as somebody who studied broadcasting, the dividing line between all of the stations, radio and television, especially television, that start with W, and then all of the stations. There's a couple of outliers here and there, but all of the stations that start with W, all of the stations that start their call letters with K, but what that big dividing line is, the Mississippi River.
There you go.
Most of the stations, TV and radio east of Mississippi, start with W, and most west start with K.
That's the
so you're in K country there. So broadcasting, that's cool. That's I studied all of that and more, and I've been in it since. Which felt like 10 minutes ago, graduating college, I tell you. Was that something that you started to pursue, or did music start to take over? I think it's kind of cool that was a interest of yours.
Yeah, music kind of took over my freshman year. I was fully into it my freshman year. But always loved broadcasting, TV, radio. It's always been a big part of what I do. I tell my promotion staff, my management to book as many interviews as possible, because I love doing them. I'm one of those guys and there's a lot of guys that I know in the industry that don't like them. But I have always I've had, 6 or 7 today. So I love doing them. So again, thank you for having me on.
God, it sounds like the schedule I have. You have 6 or 7 today. Well, if you need to, I was going to say, if you need a glass of something with all that talking you've done, feel free to duck out, get the glass, and come back. I mean, we've had that happen where people have ducked out to get the Oscar, the Grammy, the whatever the case may be. So what came first for you? Were you the singer first? Were you a musician first? what was the first thing for you, Chris?
It was a singer first. I self-taught I taught myself how to play the guitar, dabbled in the fiddle for a little bit. But I taught myself how to play the guitar, but I was singing from a very early age. There's a picture running around of me with the old school chili bowl haircut back when I had hair, with a guitar at my grandmother's house. I must have been 4 or 5, but I can remember singing back then. I just always loved to sing.
What were you singing? Do you remember?
That's a great question. I don't remember. I wish I had an awesome answer for you, but I just don't.
I mean, did you, like, being a broadcaster myself, TV radio guy, I still admit to, when driving on the highway, announcing highway billboards and, announcing things that I see, like if there's a magazine that gets delivered, sort of announcing it, or do you find yourself doing that too?
Definitely. In the last
month, got a radio voice for sure.
Well, thank you. I've, I had to cut about 28 liners for some wonderful stations over in the UK. And I love doing liners. It's one of those things that I'll even to this day, driving around, it's like, hey, right. It's Chris Chitsey and you're listening to whatever. But it's something, again, I've always been passionate about.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's what a liner is for anybody watching. That's sort of a broadcast term. It's, there's just quick lines promoting the station and maybe something that's coming up and the talent, which is kind of cool. The people that write a lot of those too are very, very talented. I remember, some of the stations I've worked for over the years, there was one particular one that really was cool. And it was a station that had, the music was sort of relaxing. And so their line was something like, smooth out the rough edges of your workday with Tide 101 FM. It's how they come up with these terrific lines that we end up saying.
Yes.
So early on, so you got the passion. What, when you look at it, was a big moment for you? I mean, obviously schooling and, sort of making your way through everything early on. Did you join a band? Did you start a band? What did you do? What are some of those first steps you took to point yourself in the direction that you're in now?
Yeah, it's been such a long time in the making. I have so many fond memories of the past and kind of what got me to this point. But I had a manager early on that had a lot of really good Nashville connections, and some connections that I still have to this day. But I was, after kind of being discovered at a little honky-tonk in Bastrop, Texas, probably 3 weeks later, I was in Nashville picking out songs, some great songwriters. I mean, some very decorated songwriters that, have won numerous awards at this point, but picking out songs for my first album. And I remember cutting that album with a gentleman by the name of Pat Holt, who produced that album, Pat's still around, love him dearly, like a brother or father figure to me. But, and he's produced George Jones, and I mean, lots of guys. But, my dad always wanted me to get that education. So after cutting that album, I went back to Texas and just kind of, cut the ropes on the road. Was going to school, was touring Thursday through Sunday every week, just, getting out there amongst the people, getting out there playing my music, owning my craft. And it takes, played thousands of shows now over the last over 20 years, almost 30 years now. And it's what it really takes is back when you could smoke in those bars, those smoky bars, and doing 4 or 5 nights a week, and the strain on your voice and kind of makes you who you are today. But a lot of guys from the past I've run into, some really staple guys in Nashville that have guided me along the way to where I'm at now.
So, you mentioned really being true to form with the authentic sounds of country. Tell us about that. Why is it important to still remember and celebrate? Because obviously there's country pop and there's other sort of forms and morphing of the music, different styles that are out today. What is it about the original sounds that resonate with you that you want to celebrate, honor, and deliver in your music for everybody else?
What a great question. I'm a huge fan of 90s country music and have been since the 90s. But I have always, whether it be live or in the studio, I've always had steel guitar and fiddle on every one of my songs. If you go stream or download Chris Chitsey music, you're going to find fiddle and steel on every single track. My music today, yes, I've had to kind of evolve with time and with radio play and with other artists. But you'll still find that 90s flair in all of my music, with steel and with fiddle, but with more of a little modern twist to it. So even on the road, I've always carried a outstanding fiddle player, an outstanding steel player, because that's what's been around. I mean, that's country music to me. Country music from the 40s, 50s, 60s always had steel and fiddle, sometimes two fiddles. I mean, you got twin fiddles. But I remember, my biggest mentor, George Strait, kind of growing up, always had fiddle, always had steel. And, some of the best in the business, your Garths, your Alan Jackson, guys that stayed true to the country platform. Those are two of the instruments that are country music. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than fiddle and steel in country music.
When you started playing and sharing with everybody your music and your take on things, and then people started to really follow you, the industry started following you, then fans, of course, starting to follow. What was that feeling like when this is something you've dreamed of and it's starting to come to fruition, and now getting some incredible accolades and chart topping music? What's that feeling like for you, Chris?
Pretty emotional, actually, to think about it, to see the charts come in. And I've had, number ones going back to the early 2000s, and then another little streak from 14, 15, and 16. And this kind of new stuff out last year. Last time I saw you went number one. The brand new single, Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy, has already gone number one. And just, it almost seems surreal to see my name on the charts with these guys and gals that I grew up and listening to and still admire to this day. To look on there and see a Chris Stapleton and a Chris Chitsey right above it or below it, it just almost doesn't seem real.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? Right? While you're doing the work, I would imagine, some people, they prefer to be in the studio making the music, and then others really get a kick out of being on stage and live performances, which now fortunately are coming back from the last craziness of the last couple of years. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer the studio work? Do you prefer being out there on the stage with the fans, or do you love it all?
I love it all. I mean, if I had to pick one, it would definitely be out with the fans performing live. Just absolutely love playing live. Back in the day, I had a really cool pyrotechnic show and explosions and stuff on stage. As a kid, one of my favorite guys was Chris Ledoux, a rodeo cowboy turned country music artist, and Garth Brooks as well. They both had a killer pyrotechnic show. But I love jumping through the fire and just, entertaining the people. It's so nice to perform for the people and look out and see people singing your songs and your lyrics back to you. Just an amazing feeling, and staying after for sometimes hours and hours, signing pictures and hats and T-shirts and things. And I don't ever leave until, the last person that is wanted something signed has left. But live is you got to love live. Studio, I always tell people that being in the studio in Nashville, where I've cut everything I've ever cut, I always tell people I'm the least talented person in the room when I'm amongst the amazing studio musicians that have played on all of my stuff since the late 90s. We're talking about the fifth most recorded drummer in the history of music, guys, Mr. Paul Lime and Chris Lusinger on guitar, who's played on every Garth Brooks song ever recorded, also plays live with Garth Brooks. So last session, we had to bump it a couple of days because he was flying back over with Garth from Ireland. So these type of guys that you just get around and they make you better. They make you so much better of an artist. You just get to learn from them, see their professionalism and how they do it in the studio. But I love it all, to answer your question.
That's really, really cool. How about songwriting? Where does that come into the mix for you?
You know, I've never been a great songwriter. I've dabbled in songwriting, but everything I've ever cut, hats off, and super blessed to have some amazing songwriters. My whole Chris Chitsey single collection, which is over 30 singles. A lot of the times I scratch my head and say, how in the world did I get this song? You know, this was a Red Akins or a Peach Picker song, guys that have had over 70 number ones now. And I've partnered with two amazing guys, Rob Martin, my New York songwriter, Frank Maroney out of Nashville, who's producing my latest stuff. Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy was produced by both Rob and Frank. But these guys, they wrote Last Time I Saw You. They wrote Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy, my summer single, which will be out in June, Every Small Town. The following single, they've written all of these. So amazing guys. But I've been so fortunate in my career to have some of the best songwriters in the industry in my corner.
Which is, you know, it takes a village, doesn't it?
It most definitely does.
Anything we do, and especially if we're out there where creativity is involved, you know, it's easy to just try to think you can do it all yourself. Like I've always thought, and many people in our industries always think, and then you realize, wow, one of the things I've had to learn, I don't know about you, Chris, I've had, maybe because I'm always so invested in everything that I do, one of the things, and I'm still not the best at it, and I'm working at it, is delegating. Handing things off, handing the baby off to so-and-so. Here, okay, you can help, or sure, I can. You know, there might be a flood happening and a pipe burst. I'll get it, don't worry. And you're like, I could really use a plumber. You know what I mean? It's like, are you good with delegating, or is that something you've had to sort of work on too?
I totally relate with you. Something I've had to work on. You know, starting off in the music business, you do everything yourself, from, you know, pictures of just creating a picture for a single release or something like that. But I've just become so busy here lately in the last year that I have had to start delegating things. For example, we were finishing the video for my summer single this past weekend, and I had an opportunity down in Navasota, Texas to climb a 160 foot water tower and do some drone shots and footage. And I told the video director, hey, if you need me to come to Kentucky to help you edit this thing, just give me a call. I'm there in a heartbeat. But I'm that kind of guy that likes to edit, that likes to produce, that likes to do my own songs and own music. So delegation is huge. And I've had to learn to do some of that now that I have an actual team, a promo team, and management and record labels. And it's I guess it's tough to pass that torch on and to try to delegate stuff. But you know, there's only one of me, and I can only do so much.
Exactly. It comes to a point where we realize that, and we say that, and yeah, that's what's a typical day like for you? Are you always you know, doing something that's musical? Is it something that is always surrounding you, or do you have times where you're able to pause it and get on with other parts of life and then come back to it? Or are you somebody who always likes to have music around him?
I always have music around me, but I'm involved in a lot of different projects and a lot of things. I have I'm an engineer as well by education, so I have an engineering inspection company. I have a real estate investment company. I own an old Western town live music venue out in West Texas that I spend some time at. God bless my sister for running that for us. But and then I have three kiddos, and you know, a 15-year-old that's heavily involved in baseball, and my daughter that's heavily involved in sports. All my kids are very athletic. Praise God for that. And I have a 3-year-old that's just starting t-ball. So I get to play a lot with them. I coach a lot when I'm in town, and I do a lot with them. So I'm very blessed to have music kind of going full time and family going full time and all that as well.
Very cool. Blessed you are. Any of them musically inclined? Do you see anything in them?
My 3-year-old made a guest appearance in the Last Time I Saw You video. He just went on stage and grabbed a guitar and just got after it. I think he sees me doing it. So he also came on stage with me. Here recently, we were shooting the Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy video and the Every Small Town, my follow-up coming out in the summer. But he always is on stage with me. The bigger kids, I think it's Dad does this, and yeah, it's cool, but whatever. We have our own things going on. So the bigger kids kind of do their own thing.
Right. Sports. That's great. Did you get involved in the sports when you were a kid too?
I did. I was a big baseball player. Played football in high school, but baseball has always been my cup of tea. I'm a huge baseball fan.
So what would it be? What's the team for you?
Well, coming from Austin, I'm a big Longhorn fan. We've had season tickets to Texas baseball for almost 40 years. So I grew up watching Texas baseball. And then on the flip side of that, in Nashville, the Nashville Sounds. And then I'm a big Vandy fan, big Vanderbilt and Tim Corbin fan. And Texas is actually playing Vanderbilt Friday down at Astros at Minute Maid Stadium. So I take that back. It's Sunday at 11. So I'll be watching that game.
What position did you play when you played baseball?
I was a middle infielder. Played second, short, and some third. I pitched a little bit as well.
Oh, that's great. They always put me in right field because, and for some reason, it was fantastic just because, and like if we were to toss the ball around, you'll notice that I always throw it high, fast, hard, but high.
I was going to say you had such a big cannon of a gun.
That's why they put me in right field all the time. So it was always high and then arcs a little bit to the right. And when we would, you'd toss the ball with Dad, my dad would always say, get it straight on. I said, yeah, but that's why they have me in right field because it's high and right. So I can make sure it gets to the guys.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It gets to the point also, I was playing catch with my 15-year-old a few days ago, and he's a freshman in high school, and he's a big lefty pitcher. I came from a game earlier today where he threw 4 shutout innings and struck out 6, but I just assumed, I hadn't caught him in a while. I just assumed I could catch him, and his name is Cooper. And I was like, hey, Coop, let's throw. And I hate to say it, but my reaction time is not what it used to be. And after about 2 pitches, I was like, man, I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good broadcast name too, huh? Cooper Christie.
Cooper. Yeah. Cooper Chitsey. Here we come.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So what are some of the exciting things that you have that are coming up in addition to the release of this, that you're working on, that you're, you said you're going to Nashville, which is exciting. What else is coming up for you?
Yeah. I have a performance on the RFD TV network next Friday morning, an interview at 9, live performance at 9:25. So anybody out there who gets the RFD TV network, you can flip on your TV and see me live. I'll be performing Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy next Friday from Music
That's in Europe? Nashville. That's in the UK?
No, that's in Nashville. RFD
that's the one that's in Nashville. That's right.
It's in
that's
Nashville.
Cool.
Our studios are on Music Row in Nashville. So
that is great. How long will you be in Nashville?
It's a quick trip. I'm literally flying in Thursday and flying out Friday. So just flying in for the performance.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But getting ready, it's always kind of difficult talking about your next single when you have your current single doing so well on the charts and so well. We just passed, I think, 42,000 views on the Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy music video, which was
unbelievable, huh?
Oh, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. But had a chance to shoot that at the Jack Daniel's distillery down in Lynchburg, Tennessee. So that was a absolute wonderful time. But thinking about the
there
summer,
it is on the screen too. We're just
there
showing.
We go. Hey, we're talking Jack Daniel's.
Maybe you can narrate what we're seeing. What was it like putting this together? Because it's a lot of work.
Just amazing. If you notice there on the jukebox, I pushed the number 7. Everybody asks, why number 7? Well, old number 7. There you go. But I'm a huge history buff, so I wanted to make this video about kind of an ode to Jack Daniels, the man that started it all back in 1866 and the American icon that is Jack Daniels. You're talking a company that's over 150 years old, and every drop of Jack Daniels consumed in the world comes out of Lynchburg, Tennessee. And everybody was just so overwhelmingly nice and welcoming. And they allowed us in barrel houses that you just saw that are kind of off limits, and just bent over backwards. Got to work with Ashley Fletcher, who's the wife of the 8th master distiller of the entire Jack Daniels company, Chris Fletcher. You'll find his name and signature on every bottle of Jack Daniels all over the world. But Ashley was amazing. Everybody at Jack was really just unreal.
There's that water tower. Was that the drone shot?
No, the water tower was in Navasota, Texas. Hello to all my Navasota people that were so awesome. Burt Miller, the mayor down there, and the whole city hall, Susie and Jason, everybody I got to meet down there. But we chose Navasota, Grimes County, because Grimes County's always been so good to me. The whole cast and crew from Only in Iola TV show that I have coming out this spring. My summer single, Every Small Town, was chosen to be the theme song for the TV show. And so we shot the music video down there as well for Every Small Town, because it's every small town America, in Iola and in Navasota, Texas.
Tell us about the TV show. That sounds exciting.
Man, it's God, family in Texas. Some great friends of mine, the Charbonneaus, moved to Iola, a little town east of College Station, Texas. It's spelled Iola for all of you that don't know about Iola, but all of their social handles, Only in Iola, and that's the name of the TV show, onlyiniola.com. But it's amazing, amazing TV show coming out, debuting this spring. So I'm in episode 6, and then the music video will appear actually in a program, one of the episodes as well.
See, that broadcaster in you is popping out.
I'm trying to sell it, man.
Once a broadcaster, always a broadcaster, right?
Speaking of Jack, when you partner with Jack Daniels, you always have the best around you.
I was going to say, absolutely. How long did it take to shoot and film and edit and put this together? I mean, the production value is really high.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. I take a lot of pride in my videos. The last couple videos, I have an amazing crew out of Nashville, an amazing crew here in Austin, amazing crew from Kentucky and Yens, and all my, surrounded by great people. I'm very blessed to be surrounded by the best. So, but shooting this video took a few days. Shot a little bit of it in Iola, shot a little bit of it in Lynchburg, Tennessee. But it's a big effort. We live in a very visual society, if you will, where everybody has a cell phone right at their hand. So it always helps with a really good video where people can relate and they see the lyrics and they see the song and they remember a really good video. And probably one of the highlights of my music career was shooting this video at Jack Daniels, and to have a partner like that, a global partner like Jack Daniel is just incredible. So blessed, so fortunate.
So I would imagine there's some of it in the house.
You know me too well.
You're not allowed to do any interviews without it in the glass.
Got a new refrigerator that makes the fancy little cocktail, the round balls, and so I take advantage of them.
Ever put it in an ice cube tray and make ice cubes out of it?
That's a great idea.
Not that
I got to get on that.
Not that any of that would have been done in the college days.
No, none at all.
It's very funny because I remember back in college in New York, they had the Rathskeller, which of course is the place where kids would accumulate. It was like the school club or bar or what have you. And at that point, everybody was so excited on campus because, they thought that they were, by drinking this one particular ale, this one particular beer, that they were fancy schmancy. This, hey, we're living the high life. This is fancy stuff. This is imported. This is European. And you know what that beer was that everybody thought, and again, think times have changed, but it was Heineken.
Hey,
When folks had the Heineken, they thought, hey.
that's great.
That's
That's
funny,
awesome.
huh?
Yeah,
So,
that's a good one.
do you do a lot of traveling? Does this require for you to travel? I know Nashville and all, but do you travel, and is there a tour in the offing?
We're starting to kick some things around. Last July I signed a deal with Clientele Nashville Records, and they brought in Sony and the Orchard. So I got some big major label stuff going on, and with bringing that group in, a single is released, the first kind of global single that I've had. It goes out to 250,000 stations and formats in 180 countries. So,
Wow.
when we're hearing about feedback from Australia and all over the UK and
Cool, isn't it?
India and Africa and places that you think they don't even listen to country music, but country music is very big globally. They love it globally. So yes, there's talks, there's works of going across the pond, as they would say it, over the UK and Europe. I got a text from one of my management people a couple of days ago with 15 festivals coming up this spring in the UK that we're talking about doing. And Australia, a lot of country music in Australia, and I'd love to go down under and bring the Chris Chitsey show to those fine people as well.
You
So
know
we're kicking it
who?
around.
Absolutely. And you know who also loves country and they also love folk is Ireland.
Oh, sure.
Ireland has a real connection and appreciation for the country and the folk artists.
Definitely.
It's big in Ireland. I don't think a lot of people, generally realize that. They always think of the Celtic and the Irish music. And we've had a number of friends of mine who are in some of those major groups, the Celtic Thunders, Celtic Woman, all these others. And they all talk about the favor that they all have for folk and country because they tell stories. These songs grab at you in ways that tell stories that you can potentially relate to. Is that one of the reasons why you love this genre of music, is because it's about life and living and the storytelling aspect of this music?
It is. I mean, one of the songwriters to this song, "Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy," Rob Martin, is an Irishman himself. I mean, they like to drink a lot of beer too. But yes, country music always tells a wonderful story, and I love a good country ballad as well, where you can slow it down. And yes, this "Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy" is kind of the proverbial party song, and we have a great time doing it. But I love to slow it down as well. You'll find some great ballads, good country ballads in my single collection as well.
I was going to say, if we came over there to listen to what you've got in your player, what would probably be in there?
Definitely some George Strait. I'm a huge Bee Gees fan. I'm a huge Motown fan.
Sure,
So
yeah.
some
good
Marvin
music.
Gaye, some Smokey Robinson, some Diana Ross. Got to see Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle here late last year, and that was kind of on my bucket list. So they came to the Austin, and I got to see them. I just sat there in awe, almost jaw dropped the entire show. I think Gladys had a 10-piece band, and Patti had 13 or 14 pieces on stage, but just an amazing show. I mean, words can't do it justice.
These are real legendary people. We were blessed to have, and if folks want to check it out in the archives, we had Anita and Ruth Pointer from the Pointer Sisters on.
Wow.
And it was one of the final interviews that Anita did before passing away, and which was a very sad loss. And wow, just thinking about the years of talent. Melissa Manchester's been here too. And Melissa Manchester has a new album out called Review, celebrating 50 years in the industry, of course, with all her hits. But she also did, which was very cool, in Nashville, you'll appreciate this, two icons, Melissa Manchester, Dolly Parton. They just combined forces, and they did an updated version singing to each other, Dolly and Melissa, the song Midnight Blue.
Mm.
Really cool. And that's cool when you have an opportunity to get people together like that. Are there some dream people that you would love to collaborate with, either in the studio or on stage, do duets with, create with? I would imagine, huh?
Yes, to all of that. I've always been a huge Dolly fan. As you can see, I always try to rock a little Dolly Parton shirt here, but all of my videos, I try to rock some Dolly as well, but huge Dolly Parton fan. Um, I'm a big fan of Chris Stapleton, some of the newer stuff out. Big Jamie Johnson fan. I'm a big George Strait fan. I mean, I would um, couldn't dream of cutting a duet or something with George Strait, but that would be probably my top two or three right there. I would Dolly would probably be top of the list.
People are commenting. It's funny because Diana Fisher, it's good to see her, Diana. She goes, Chris is so young to have done so much already.
Oh, bless you.
Such a dynamic career.
She doesn't know how old I really am.
He looks very, very well preserved for 72, doesn't he?
Yes, actually, yeah, yes. Yes.
Jack Daniels
had to shave the gray beard for 72, but yes.
72, I tell you. What are some of the things that inspire you? The music and whether broadcasting, music, any of these industries, when you're out in the public eye and you got to make things happen and sometimes you got to move fast. There isn't a lot of time to catch your breath. You got to seize the opportunity when it comes, and you got to always not top yourself, but you always got to come with creative ways to stay relevant, connected, and keep moving forward and enjoying it. That's the key, is still loving it and enjoying it while you're doing it. Because if you don't, then it's time to do something else. What are some of the things that continue to inspire you to want to stay in the game? Very difficult industry, music, very fickle industry, unpredictable. But again, if it's something that's in your heart and soul, there's no way not doing it. What inspires you to do it?
I deal with so many wonderful people. I surround myself with what I consider to be some of the best in the business. Again, wonderful songwriters, wonderful, road managers and people that have been with me for 20 years. My girl that handles my social media stuff, been with me over 20 years. My old road manager, Stanley Izzard, and his wife, Joanne, have been with me 20 years. I have a lot of people that have been with me over 20 years. And, I'm inspired by them. I'm inspired by great songwriters, great musicians that I get to play with, not only on the road, but in the studio. I love radio. I'm inspired by my kids, to see the innocence of that and watching dad. But I'm involved in a lot of things. My sister is very, get me emotional here, but very, very inspirational to me. She's done a lot in her life and handles a lot of stuff for me and for my family. Wouldn't be where I am without her. My dad played a huge role in what I've done my whole music career. I lost him back in 2020, but I wouldn't be where I'm at now without my dad. Think about him every day, but he kind of gave me the platform to put me here. And because I still run one of his inspection engineering companies, I'm involved in stuff almost daily where I kind of laugh going, what would my dad have done? Or, Dad, I see you looking down on me now, smiling at me. So
what was his name?
His name was Ron Chitsey.
How do you describe him? What was he like, and how much of him is in you?
A lot of him is in me. Just a great man, a hard worker. He was a guy that worked 7 days a week, instilled a wonderful work ethic in me, taught me everything I know, was a great musician in his own right. But he taught me everything about business, taught me everything about life. Just a great man, a great loss for the world, but he put all that in me, so I'm carrying it on.
And I would imagine damn proud too when he saw your star rising and all the hard work, that ethic that moral compass that you saw in him sort of passed. I know what you're talking about because I follow the family as well, and upbringing and great childhood, lots of love in the family and support, and we all root for each other and take care and worry about one another.
Mhm.
And I would imagine a lot of pride with him and within the family to see you do and live out your dream.
Yeah, I'd always see my dad. He'd always stand stage left in my live shows, and he didn't have to tell me he was proud. It's something that I knew. He'd get on the bus after a show, and to just say, "Hey, man, great job. You did a great job." But that's all he really had to say. I knew he was proud of me.
I mean, you can't script that. You can't ever, prepare something like that. I get that and relate because I remember one of the first times I was on television, and it was in New York.
Mhm.
And, straight out of college, and this was a big moment, and I'm on television, and I'm actually, there was a time I was working for the PBS station as a host. Then I was working part-time radio at night. It was actually a Christian music station. So I
Awesome.
learned about a lot of the Christian artists too, the
Yeah.
Michael W. Smiths and the
Mhm.
BBCC Winans and,
Sure.
Ralph Carmichael, all these great artists, Amy Grant and all the
Mhm.
rest. And so I was doing part-time radio at night. I was working freelance for the public television station, and then working full-time for a commercial independent station. And I was going to appear on television for a PBS segment, and I was live in the studio. And it was a PBS pledge break, and I was one of the hosts. So we were raising support live on camera, call us now and call in your pledge to support this program. And I think the program was Peter, Paul, and Mary. And
Wow.
so after we go back to the program, we go back into like the huddle with the producer. Okay, this is when we come back live in the studio. This is what we're going to talk about. Let's map
Mhm.
out what we're going to say and what the gifts are, the DVD, the video, the proverbial tote bag, all the things. And the producer comes in and said, "Jim," and this was the first time I was working with them. So, you wanted to impress. "Jim, we just got this call from the management at this major TV and appliance chain here in the New York tri-state area with 29 stores. And they said that they have our station on all the TVs in the TV department of this TV and appliance chain,
Nice.
all on that station."
Wow.
And I'm like, really? And my father had a connection with that company.
Mhm.
And so I couldn't believe it. They were just like, and they're, the manager said, everybody's watching. So it's like you pass by a store and every television in
Sure.
that has their station on. That was
Yeah.
like, wow, like, really? I can't believe this. So at the dinner table that night, Dad was across, and I said, "Hey, Dad, you won't believe what happened." He goes, "What's that, Jim?" Or Jimmy, because he's Jim also.
Right.
"Jimmy, what's that?" I said, "You won't believe that we got a call from a TV station, and they said one of their managers called, and that they put the station on all the televisions and all their stores in the greater New York area." And he goes, "Really? That's amazing." And then he doesn't say anything more. And then I said, "Did you have anything to do with that?" And he did. He was the reason
Oh,
why
wow.
on the first time I appeared on television, that every TV for that entire TV and appliance chain in the New York area, a big one, had all their TV sets in their stores
Wow.
on that station. That's something a caring and proud and good guy dad would do, right?
That's awesome, man. I mean, you were on thousands of TVs. I mean, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing that with me.
I just felt that connection because
Yeah.
it's, when you have that kind of support and backing behind you,
Sure.
there's truly nothing like it.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Tell us about, and we showed the video, we talked about the making of the video. Tell us about the music itself and congratulations on this. This is really, I know, hot off the presses, you're very excited about it. Tell us about the making of it and some of the incredible songs and what, people can get from it.
Well, the first time I heard "Life Is Hard, Whiskey's Easy," Rob sent it to me, and I was like, "Man, I absolutely love this song. I think it's a hit."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we got together and recorded the song and just had a great time. Rob came down to Nashville, and I flew in and met Frank, and we recorded vocals, and I said this song is got to have fiddle on it, so we brought in Janae Fleener, who's the 5-time CMA Fiddle Player of the Year, to lay down all the smooth, amazing fiddle tracks that she laid on it, and we had just. It felt like magic. It was just one of those songs that is just like, man, I love this song. And from then the video came about. I was like, I see this video. I had my management call Jack Daniels, and they were overwhelmingly welcoming to the fact and just laid it all out for us and said, yes, you can come shoot here. And basically, here's the shoot schedule. Would you like to do it like this? And I was like, this is perfect. Yes. I mean, where do I sign up? And so it was just been an amazing experience. The single was released back on the 15th of January. So still really in single terms, it's only been out about 6 weeks and is all over the charts right now. It hit #1 on the World Indie Music Chart, Top 100 a couple of weeks back, but it's #2 this week on the Euro chart, #2 on the Italian chart. It's all over the New Music Weekly, Country America charts out of LA. Almost top 10. I think we're 13 on one, 11 on one. Music Row out of Nashville. We just broke into the top 100 on their top 200, 99 this week. So 99 is we're getting places with it. But you're dealing with the best of the best there, and that's what I want. I want this song to compete with your Luke Combs and your Chris Stapletons and your big guys of today and your big gals of today, your Lainey Wilsons. I mean, it's amazing to look on a chart and see the megastar that Lainey Wilson is, and look a couple of spots down or up on some cases, and see Chris Chitsey, "Life Is Hard, Whiskey's Easy." It's pretty amazing.
When you really think about it, that is extraordinary. How to have it, and that's not the first song you've been involved in that has charted and people have really responded to, huh? It's like anything that you seem to be putting out, people can't get enough of, and that's really cool.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you for that, and that means a lot. A lot of work has gone into this. I mean, almost 30 years. So it's yes, this is my 8th single, nationally and globally, the last couple to put out. But always had great response from radio. Just very, very blessed to have had that connection with radio, where we get a lot of radio play, and are starting to develop that with a global fan base. Like I said earlier, the video's up to, I think, 42,000 views in 4 or 5 weeks. So it's making the rounds, if you will. People are liking the video, and we're getting a lot of great response off of the video. Again, just so thankful. I'm looking back in retrospect on the video. It's like, did that really happen? Did I shoot that? And I have to watch it every few days at the gym or something, going, yeah, we did this,
That's how they started MTV. Remember, it was the
right.
video, and the video along with the music just. Yeah. You see more of that now that you did that. You see more video with the songs to the best of your ability.
Yes, I love the video making, and like I said earlier, my summer single, "Every Small Town," had an opportunity to. There's a line of the chorus that talks about every small town's got a water tower, sunset kisses at golden hour, and again, written by Rob Martin and Frank Maroney. But I said, guys, you have to find a water tower that I can climb. I want to get up to the top of it and do some drone footage of every small town's got a water tower. So the folks down in Navasota, Texas were so welcoming, and it just wonderful, wonderful time. But I got to scale. If you go to my social media at Chris Chitsey, you can see all the pictures and videos and stuff. But I got to climb a water tower that was built in 1955. It's a 400,000 gallon water tower, ladders straight up, and the last 10, 15 steps kind of goes inverted, if you will, to get up to the catwalk. But got to go up there, and it was pretty magical, spending about 45 minutes by myself up there with a view that was just priceless over the whole county of Grimes County. Yeah. But it was amazing. Did a lot of drone footage, and then took me 7 minutes to get up and 6 to get down. And I'm an official water tower climber. If there's a club out there, I would like to.
The reason why I'm asking this is to see if there's a connection. Do you have a fascination with water towers? As a kid, I used to have a fascination seeing them, knowing there was water stored in there. But before I went into broadcast, I also studied architecture and design. Mm-hmm. So to see these structures, and usually they'd have the town's name or the city's name, and it was very identifiable. Mm-hmm. That and television transmitter towers and radio station towers, and some of those, God bless them, the folks that climb the water towers, climb the 1,000-foot TV towers and radio station towers just to change the red blinking light bulb that needs to be on there so the planes don't crash into it.
Yes.
Did you have a fascination with the towers and things like that?
Yeah, great question. I've always had a fascination with them. Again, the small town thing. There's a lot of water towers in Texas, so as a kid, driving around and going on trips and whatnot, you would always see tons of water towers. Being in the kind of radio industry for 30 plus years, I'm very keen to radio towers as well. So yes, always been fascinated by it. Always wanted to climb one, and here we go. I got to climb one and shoot a bunch of footage up on one. So it was really cool, really cool.
I don't know if you've gone to the point where I have, where sometimes we're in the car and we're driving, and there is one of the television towers or radio station towers approaching, and I see it off to the distance on the highway, whatever. I'll tell, the family in the car or buddies, friends, whoever happens to be in the car. Now, that's the tower for Channel 4, or that's the one for Channel 7.
Yes.
And they're like, uh-huh.
Congratulations, Jim. That's a fun fact of the day.
It's great. It's great. But didn't you tell us that last month?
Right.
Yeah, but there it is again. Look at it.
Yeah.
You become like awesome. A kid, right? You become like a kid.
Yeah.
Do you, and I know this is early in the game because you're still producing and recording and doing all of this. Do you ever see yourself, you mentioned in the early part of this terrific conversation, I don't call these interviews, I call these conversations because I think they're more real and deeper and more free flowing. But do you ever see yourself, you mentioned people that inspired you. Do you ever see yourself mentoring kids, teaching kids, the industry, music, singing, or any of that down the line, whether it's in a community college or something you do on your own? Is that something that you would envision down the line for yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. I teach people I coach my kiddos for in their kind of respective sports a lot of the times. I have a buddy at the gym that when we were shooting the music video, he's an inspiring musician. He's a rock guitar player, and I had him come down to be one of my band members in the video for Every Small Town coming up. He's also appears in the Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy video, a couple of shots just to show him some of the ropes. But yes, I'm an educator, if you will. I love to teach people, and I could definitely see myself doing that a lot more than I do now down the road.
Well, right now you're making the music. Yeah, that's cool. Is there any place that you'd like to travel to that you haven't yet? If it's like, say, for example, on a tour, concert tour, you're like, gee, I'd like to hit that country, that city, whatever it may be. Is there things on the bucket list for you, Chris, in that regard?
Yes, I mean obviously there's lots of places I haven't been that I would love to go. I am pretty well traveled. I've been to 5 or 6 countries in Africa and all over Southeast
Cool.
Asia, and I've never really hit Europe very hard. And we're getting have some UK promoters and some European promoters working this single. So I would at some point in time like to get over to the UK and Spain and Germany and really hit the UK hard. But I'm totally open to global touring. I want to go see the people and all these streams and downloads and everything we have coming in. I just want to go shake their hands and tell them thank you.
What would you say to somebody right now who's watching the Jim Masters Show live talk show series and they're discovering you, Chris Chitsey, for the very first time? What would you say in terms of what they can expect when they either download the music, and we'll tell them how they can get all that, or they see you in concert? What is it you want them to get from what you're doing?
Great question. You can hear the sincerity in all of my music. It doesn't come from a fake place. It comes from who I am, real life experiences. All of my songs that you can download and stream, you'll sense that right off the bat. My live shows are very energetic. I don't just stand there behind the mic and sing. You can expect great energy. And not all country. I mean, I'm gonna mix it up and play some good rock tunes. You may even hear some Motown, but I got to bring back my pyro show. So that's next. You can see me jumping through some fire and some big concussions going off. But it's a wonderful time. I really am anxious to get back out on the road.
Here's the website, everybody. You can go to chrischitseymusic.com. And all the music is at Spotify and iTunes and all the platforms where people can download and stock up on your music.
Yes, you can get it everywhere. I think there's over 150 is what they tell me now, digital and streaming services across the globe. We're familiar with Spotify and iTunes and Tidal and Deezer and a few of the big ones here in the States. But yes, anywhere you can download or stream music, you can find the entire Chris Chitsey collection.
And that's the whole other thing, right? That's really changed the way music is delivered and consumed.
Mm-hmm.
But, you go back, like you say, 20, 30 years, it was a different way. You'd go to the Tower Records, you'd go to the record stores, or you'd hear it on the radio or whatever the case may be. It's completely changed the way it's done. It's also given maybe lesser known artists a way to reach people as well. Is it something that you embrace and you like, and is it working for you?
It's been the best question I've been asked all day, and I've had about 6 of these, but when I started, we had cassette tapes and I was taking cassette tapes around trying to get gigs from a cassette tape, a demo tape. And I can remember going to a Walmart in San Angelo, Texas, where my first album had come out in this Walmart, and buying a copy because we made a couple of dollars off of every album sold, CD sold, if you will. But yeah, the game changer, streaming music, downloading music, it's changed everything. For most of your big global artists, with 200 or 300, 400 million streams, it's a great thing. But for an artist like myself that keeps grinding it out, it's difficult. It's difficult to make a living in the music business. Always has, but it is difficult. We just pray that the music's good enough and it'll catch on, and people will be streaming and downloading it across the globe. That's all we can really pray and hope for.
When you get that reaction like that, that inspires you to make more music, right? When people are receptive, they can relate to it, they enjoy it. It takes them away from the craziness of everyday living.
Yes.
And puts a smile on their face. That's the icing on the cake for it all, isn't it? All that hard work.
It is, and that's what we wanted to try to convey on the Life is Hard, Whiskey's Easy. It's just life is hard these days. I don't care if you're rich, poor, in between. Life is hard. A gallon of milk, eggs, fuel. I mean, rent. everything is hard. And if you can take 3 minutes and 3 seconds of life is hard, comma, but whiskey's easy. And whether you're a whiskey drinker or just like a glass of water or iced tea or whatever it is, take a few minutes and just say, hey, it's going to be okay. I know life is hard, but in this case, whiskey is definitely easy.
Well, things are really tight when they say that at certain locations of McDonald's, the Big Mac is $11.
Ouch.
Could you imagine that?
No.
Could you imagine that? Remember the dollar menu? 11. So, I mean, yeah. Before we wrap, I've asked a few people this question. The craziness, the things we've gone through, in our lives the last 2-3 years have given us time to pause, reflect, sort of unplug, replug in, look at life a different way, maybe enhance certain things, get rid of certain things, bring new things into our lives. The stuff that we've experienced in the last couple of years, this global event and everything else, how has it at all changed your perspective? I'm sure you hug the kids tighter. Everybody's, you take the time because everybody was home and baking bread and all the things they were doing. How about you? What are some things that Chris learned about life and about Chris?
Life's short. You've got to enjoy it to the fullest. It really made me realize that I need to develop a deeper relationship with friends, with family. Tell these people that I genuinely love them and what they're doing for me, and just relationships. I hug my good friends now way more than ever. Tell them that I love them. I get emotional with people now. I don't hide my emotions for anything really anymore. I got emotional with you here 15-20 minutes ago, and I tend to do that just in conversations at the gym with people. I mean, I'll almost break down, but it's something that I want people to feel that emotion from me, that I'm a real person. I have feelings, they have feelings. We all probably lost someone or multiple people during the COVID and the whole COVID pandemic. And some of those people were in hospitals where they didn't have anybody, and you couldn't go see them and their family members, and you couldn't say goodbye to them. So get it out, get the emotional aspects out. Tell your friends you love them, man. And those people that really mean a lot to you. Again, I've had people in my organization that have been working for me for over 20 years. It's special. There's a lot of really special people out there, and don't hesitate to tell someone you love them. Tell them you love them, kiss them. My 15-year-old, it's awesome, but my 15-year-old will still hug me in front of his friends, kiss me on the lips and say, I love you, Dad, in front of all of his buddies. And that was something that I feared would go away. Where, my 12-year-old daughter now kind of gives me the old side hug. It's like, oh, come on. But, just those awesome relationships.
There was a time when my father, somehow, I don't know, something happened where I was delayed and I didn't catch the bus at the bus stop for whatever reason. Something happened. And my father hadn't left for work yet. So he said, I'll take you to school. Now, this was high school. Okay. So Dad said, before I head to work, I can drop you off on the way. And I said, oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. I don't know. There was some sporting practice event or something. So I was scrambling to get everything, equipment and everything together. And the bus took off quick. And it was the one time that I missed it. And, but Dad was there, and Dad said, I'll take you up to the school. So, of course, Mr. Rah, rah, rah that he is, he drops me. The doors of the school hadn't been open yet, and the buses had dropped the kids off, and they're sort of congregating in front of the doors. Now, this is high school, and he pulls up, of course, in our car right in front of the school, like it's a big red carpet announcement. That's my kid, right in front of all the other kids. Now, of course, you would want him to pull a block over and you'll walk.
Sure.
He pulls up. And then as I'm getting out and say, Dad, appreciate it. Love you. Take care. See you tonight at dinner. He gives one of those, butt taps. Go get him, kiddo. Go get him, kiddo.
Go get him, big guy. Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, that was elementary school, but this is high school. And I appreciate the ride, but and you know what? I would not change a thing either.
Right.
That was just go get him kiddo stuff is the best,
Yeah, he was proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you have people that are in your life, you're ahead of the game. And
Definitely.
we're the lucky ones, Chris. This was awesome. Congratulations on everything that has happened thus far. And everything that is going on in your life. And come back and see us again. I always say, well, keep the porch light on for our guests. I hope the time spent was worth it for you and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, my friend.
I sure did. I sure do appreciate it. Again, I feel like I hit the big time now doing an interview with Jim Masters, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate that. Very kind of you to say that. And one other thing my dad said when I was 7, which is advice you'll appreciate. He said, Jimmy, whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, be sure and always thank them. Make sure you thank them. Then ask them to put those words in writing and address it management.
I love that. That's great.
Here is that website, gang. Thanks for all of the love and support, everybody. We really, really appreciate it. And if you want to share this episode, you want to celebrate what we're doing, give this episode a thumbs up like. There's a like icon. Make sure you click the thumbs up one on our YouTube channel. Leave a comment for us on the YouTube channel if you enjoyed this. Maybe it's the first time you heard about Chris. You're going to check out his music. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and share this episode around with everybody. Let them enjoy this great conversation we've had with our superstar special guest on the Jim Masters Show, Chris Chitsey here, coming to us live from Austin en route to Nashville real soon. This was really, really cool. Pierre Kelly says, fantastic conversation it was. Thank you very much, Pierre. And Kathleen in New York City, thanks for being here, Chris. Great conversation. Good luck with all you do. Maureen in Arizona, such a wonderful time in Loveity Hall this evening. Thank you so much for being with us. Chris, best wishes for continued success.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Jane was checking out the music. She loves it. You have a great voice. Fantastic. There's some of our fans and our viewers watching, chiming in here. We're very interactive with the viewers, which I think is important. And they enjoyed it. So I did too. You be well, my friend. And come back and see us again and spread the word about our show. If you know folks you think would like to pop on, they're welcome to join us here for a chat.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. Great to see you. I hope to see you down the road.
Absolutely, my friend. You take care and be well. Thanks for all the time.
Thanks, Jim. You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Chris Chitsey here on the Jim Masters Show. Here's the website if you want to check out the music, downloads, all the rest. We covered a lot of cool topics, as we always do here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Here is the latest song. He's very proud of this. It's a really good one. I got a chance to hear it before, of course, we started the show. It's a great song. I mean, all of his music, and as he said, which he's super excited about, his music is charting. His music is so well received, and he's been doing this for a long time. Yeah, he loves what he does, and he's a good guy too. He's got a good personality. He's a class act. I still want that sport coat. And he's a family man. He's a good guy, and he does music, and he does it well. And we're so excited to have an opportunity to share all of this with you here on the show, gang. If, again, you enjoyed the episode, give it a like and drop a comment. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our special guest, country singer, country star, Chris Chitsey, coming to us from Austin, Texas, great American city. Next week, he'll be in Nashville. Some cool things happening there. Come see us again, everybody. He'll be back. We'll have him back on the show when he has more cool things to talk about. We really appreciate all the time he gave us. And yeah, check out the music and all the rest. We showed this cool music video, which is the new music video that goes with the new song that he's most proud of. Life is hard, whiskey is easy. And yeah, what a good conversation. We always have great conversations on this show. As I mentioned, everything is free flowing. Nothing is scripted. You never know what direction we're to go in. Sometimes it can get emotional. There's always laughs. There's always something we do, hopefully that resonates and connects with all of you. That's why I love doing these shows, folks. You know, when I started this series back in the early, my schedule was already so busy with television and radio work on the air all day long. And then I created this monster, the Jim Masters Show Live series. And it has been a blessing and a joy and continues to be, gang, with all of you. As long as you're out there watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, and enjoying what we're doing, delivering to you all this great conversation and music and entertainment in a free-flowing, conversational, interactive way with everybody watching around the world. We'll keep out doing it for you, keep doing what we do to make you smile. So cool stuff, gang. And we have so many great guests coming up. Oh boy, look at tomorrow's guest. For those watching live, if you're watching this later on, we have extraordinary award-winning actor, director, and writer, producer, Michael Cavaliere. Michael has a new extraordinary film out that he produced in Italy, but you remember him for starring on ER, NYPD Blue, Last Comic Standing. Yeah, and he was in the movie The New Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. This guy's been doing a lot. He's a veteran television film actor extraordinaire, and he produced a phenomenal film. He's got another one out too. He's going to be with us tomorrow, which is absolutely amazing. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We just booked him today. It's all exciting, and we're excited about it. He can't wait to be on the show too. We can't wait to have him. And then Saturday afternoon, for those watching live, we have a very, very special guest. This is a music legend, an Irish music legend extraordinaire, one of the nicest guys on the planet, Derek Warfield, from the very popular, beloved Irish band, Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones. Matter of fact, they're in America right now, and they're touring the country. And he's been in the industry some 40 years when he created this group. He is a special guest to share some new details of a new album that they have, and also their American tour and a lot of other surprises. He is the founder of the group. He is an accomplished musician, singer-songwriter. He is internationally beloved, and he's a nice, nice guy. Check that out. We're so excited to have him on. The other night, we had Rosalind Kind, another extraordinary performer, sister of Barbara Streisand. This is our second time Rosalind's been with us. Rosie is just a gem. We love her. If you didn't see that episode, it was iconic. Stanley Livingston, who starred as Chip Douglas on My Three Sons, the TV series, was my guest for an extended, rare, and fun conversation recently. If you didn't see that episode, check that out as well. All these episodes are archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. There's like 1,000 plus and growing, almost 2,000. We did a wonderful special celebrating the iconic Dick Van Dyke for his 98th birthday. The legendary Anne Margaret was with us. Yeah, the iconic actress Anne Margaret was with us. So many extraordinary people here on the show. Michael from The Sopranos and ER and NYPD Blue and The New Karate Kid and everything else. He's going to be with us tomorrow. That's going to be an amazing conversation. We thank again our very special guest coming to us live and direct from Austin, Texas, Chris Chitsey, here on the show, talking about family and friendship and music and how he got started and his phenomenal dad rooting him on and so much more. I love sharing stories about my life with you as well, as I do with the guests, and you guys certainly do with the comments that come in. We really appreciate that, and that is so cool. Thanks for all these great comments, everybody. We really appreciate them. And yeah, good stuff. Love you all. And don't forget to comment on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Even if you left a comment in the chat room when the show is on live, it really, really helps us when you leave comments underneath the episodes on the YouTube channel and you click thumbs up like. Why? Because the way the algorithm works with YouTube, in order to get these episodes out to more people who join us and watch and become Jim Master Show Lovities, the likes and the subscribing to the YouTube channel and the actual comments you leave, which we sincerely appreciate, we say thank you for and mean the world to us, that actually helps us reach more people when you do that. So if you have liked this episode and other episodes in the past, if you've left comments on our YouTube channel underneath the episode and you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we thank you so very, very much. That really helps this series that has well over 1,000, almost 1,100 episodes in just almost 4 years. That's a lot of shows, a lot of content, a lot of episodes, a lot of great interaction with all of you. I've met so many of you and these amazing celebrity friends and guests who stop by for free-flowing conversation, live chats here on the Jim Masters Show for all of you. So if you like it, let us know. And during the shows, you can also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, or maybe you're subscribed already and you haven't done this, really important. There is a little, what looks like a little bell on the YouTube channel next to the word subscribe. Click that bell. It's called the notification bell. What that means is when you click that bell as a Jim Masters Show subscriber to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, you'll get an alert, a notification from us about our special guests, our episodes, the times. Sometimes we do extra added shows. Sometimes we've done 2 shows in a day. Sometimes we have, done a special earlier time of the day, an afternoon show, a weekend show. So you'll never miss anything if you want to be with us live and interact when the guest is actually here. And when the shows are here, if you are one of our subscribers, you have an opportunity to also chat live in the Lovity Hall chat room too. That's an exclusive for the folks who subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is just hitting the subscribe button. And you can support the show, which does help us buy light bulbs and pay for the exorbitant streaming costs to stream the show and all the graphics and the music and everything you see, with super chat, super emoji, super stickers in the chat room when the shows are live. Or if you're watching this when the show isn't live, there's a little heart icon underneath all the episodes. I think it's underneath the title of the episodes on the YouTube channel. Click that. It's called Super Thanks. 24/7, 365. You can support us that way too. People have been asking, what's that shirt you have? It says Mount Washington Elevation, Mount Washington, New Hampshire. We climbed this mountain. It was about 2 years ago, 6,288 feet up into the clouds. Next stop, heaven. And it was an incredible climb. Beautiful place. If you're ever up in New Hampshire, we were actually visiting our friend John Davidson. We went to see him at his place, Club Sandwich, the legendary TV host, game show host, singer, actor, everything. And when we were vacationing up there, we went to see our buddy John. We went up to Mount Washington and we climbed those 6,288 feet up into the clouds, took a lot of pictures, and we got a really good day to do it because the weather is wicked up there. Sometimes you can get snow in July, depending on, but we got nice temperatures and a sunny day. So that's what that is, Mount Washington up in New Hampshire in New England. Gang, we're going to duck out of here. We thank you for being with us. Cheers to you all. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, come see us again on the Jim Masters Show live series. If you're loving what we're doing, don't keep it a secret. Spread the good word to friends and family. Let them know that we're here and we're here for all of you. It's a joy to put these shows together. A lot of work, but a real joy. And it means the world that you're here. And, we thank you very, very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the rest. It means the world to us. And come see us again. All right. Be good to one another. Take care of one another. Love one another. And I'll keep the porch light on for you right here at JMS in Liberty Hall, the Jim Masters Show. Be well, gang. See you in the next one. Cheers.